Welcome to the Builders of Authority podcast, a show committed to helping you build authority for your brand. In the realm of business and personal branding, authority stands as a cornerstone. Authority isn't built overnight, it's built over time. So join us as we build something remarkable together. And now, here's your host, Adam McChesney.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Builders of Authority podcast. Our title sponsor for the podcast is Go High Level, also known as GHL. GHL is the first ever all-in-one platform that will give you the tools, support, and resources you need to succeed and crush your marketing goals. Personally, I've used this software since 2020, and it's been a game changer for my business and our clients. If you are looking to level up your CRM and marketing, then this is the platform to use. You can find a link for a free and extended 30-day trial with tons of Builders of Authority bonuses in the show notes. So take advantage of the opportunity to adopt GHL's amazing software and grow your business. Today's going to be another great episode. I'm interviewing someone I've only briefly talked to back and forth over Messenger, but I know she's going to be an incredible guest. Her and I are both members and an alumni of the Coach to Coaches program with Ben Newman, someone we've had on the podcast before as well. And when I saw her bio and started consuming more of her content, I knew she would be a great fit for the show. My guest today is Kristy Kuhl. Kristy is a high-performance coach for entrepreneurs and executives. Kristy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, excited to dive in here. I know you're right in the middle of a summit right now, so let's start there. How's that going? And tell people a little bit about what you've done with that.
Yes. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and to share that too. Well, Adam, I came from a one-stoplight town, and I found mentors and books and resources later in life, and it really just put me on a huge mission to get the information, from the people that have it, and provide an avenue to the people that so desperately want it, like the younger versions of Kristy. So, as you know, a lot of these speakers, I have created amazing relationships and pulled together some of the top thought leaders in their respective field of personal development and performance and coaching, and brought them together for an online on-demand summit. So I believe my coaching style is when you hear the information, you got to put it into action. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I did this summit this way. I feel like a lot of times personal development is overwhelming and we don't know exactly where to begin. And that's why it has the opportunity to become shelf help. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so much. It was great. I had this energy high, and we kind of think the energy high was what we were supposed to get. We forget about it, and then it goes on the shelf and we don't do anything. And so this online on-demand summit, I wanted the messages to be shorter, like 20 minutes, maybe. And for you to have the option to pause it and use the energy you're feeling right now, that information, to go into action and come back and do that as many times as you need to. So that's happening right now. They can, all the replays are available while the summit's going on. This will air after that. And the replays can be purchased for $47. That $47 goes to 2 different charities that I chose in California to help with what's happening with the fires. So just a way to do something. I'm in North Carolina, and it feels terrible to not be there and not to do anything more.
Yeah, well, that's an incredible movement and mission. And I know from consuming a lot of your content, you can just see and understand the importance of actually taking action on a lot of the information that people learn. I know I've gone to so many events over the past couple of years, and the consistency of the people that don't come back to those events for one reason or another, or they just stop doing what they're doing because they never actually took action on what they said they were going to do. That's a big opportunity for a lot of people. So I would love to dive into kind of how you got started in this space. What were you doing before high performance coaching and things like that? And then how has things kind of transpired over the last couple of years?
Yeah. Yep. So I was I was chasing financial freedom from a young age. And I think that's, we make a lot of decisions unknowingly based off of the way that we were growing up. And I wouldn't change a thing. I was in the medical device industry, and I had climbed the ranks of some of the most prestigious companies, Intuitive Surgical, Hologic, launching disruptive technologies, things that were first of its kind of like what iPhone did to what we did now with our calendars and the way we use our phones and email. This is what these technologies were doing. So it was high reward, high risk, high pressure, fast pace, all consuming. And I love that. I am an adrenaline junkie. So I designed like the perfect opportunity for myself, right? And however, I got to a point where I felt like something was off. I felt like there's just, no matter how good I got, Adam, I used to think like, oh, I need to be more efficient. Oh, I need to be a better leader. Oh, my systems need to be revamped. And it's crazy because all of that effort produced other things too, like my time management course and my success blueprint. But at the end of the day, I still felt this friction inside. Like there was something a higher calling, I was meant to do something else. And also I wanted the freedom and the flexibility to choose who I wanted to work with, when I worked. And so I started personal development about 9 years ago. And Tony Robbins was the entry point in. And it was like the third time that I was in one of his rooms. And when they say, like, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Well, he had said this line that I'm going to share with you in a moment. I mean, I'm sure 100 times, not 100, but a lot in those three times. But I never heard it until the student was ready to hear it. And he said, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And I was like, oh my gosh. I think he knows me. I think he knows what I'm feeling right now, because he has the words, and I just knew whatever he was going to say next, that was my pathway. Like, this is the friction that I've been feeling. And so we had to take out a piece of paper and write down what made us feel fulfilled. And honestly, Adam, like, I have pre-med undergrad, I have an MBA, and I had to Google the word. I didn't know what fulfillment meant, right? Like, I'm chasing cars and financial freedom and trips and houses. And I think all that stuff is great. And it's still something that I love, but not as much as the peace and the happiness and the joy and the things that come from being fulfilled give you that. So I knew when I looked at my piece of paper and the things that I wrote down that made me feel fulfilled, I'm like, there's no way that these paths are going to ever like do this. Like, I'm on those are two parallel things, and they're never going to cross. I'm never going to get more time to do that. And when I looked at my list, it was like the first thing was being so present where my feet are and with the person that I'm talking to, that I'm listening with my whole body. My antennas are sharp and I know exactly what you need. Like, that gives me, that's my greatest gift. But at that time, people were in my way because I had a number and I had, we had stuff to do. So I couldn't do that. I couldn't rescue dogs like I wanted to. I couldn't spend the time laughing and being with my friends and family and being in nature. And so when Tony was like, you got to find a way to do more of that, either make money faster, better, so you can free yourself up, or make that your living. And I thought, oh gosh, how am I going to do that? Right? Like, how am I going to replace $500,000 a year playing in nature with dogs and, and pouring into people? And voila, here we are. I didn't even know what coaching was at the time. And so I stepped out on the path, though, Adam, because I knew that I would never step into the things that I see other people have if I didn't figure it out.
Mm. So I was in medical devices sales as well. I know we were talking about that in Messenger. And so I kind of had a similar type of epiphany where it was like I was 26 years old, had made $200,000 selling CPAP equipment. And I was like, what the heck? 2 years prior, I made like $35,000 when I was in a different medical device sales situation, or like in an entry level role. And so all of a sudden, like, I didn't know I was chasing all those things, but I eventually started chasing those things. And then from there, it was like, okay, now that I have all these things, it wasn't like I was aimlessly spending money or things like that, but it's like, that's not what fulfills me. And I had to go through a very similar journey and to get to where I'm at right now. It hasn't been, I'm not going to say it's been super difficult from like the whole aspect of going from working to entrepreneurship, but I've realized that it's a lot more than just like saying, hey, I'm going to go and try to make the same amount of money I'm doing before. You're striving for different things. So what was that transition like for
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm a straight shooter. It was not a pretty scenario for me, who likes to have the answers and is like, oh, I'm going to go do this. I had an employee mindset. I did not have an entrepreneur. I was not the entrepreneur living in corporate America. I was like the employee in employee world and employer world. And so everything shifted for me when I took responsibility for my future and was like, okay, I've got to get out there and bootstrap this thing. Just like I had to get good at medical device sales and leadership and talking to myself and selling in front of the mirror. And you just don't it just doesn't happen without the reps. So the advice that I give people is it's not probably gonna feel good. And just embrace that middle part or that beginning part where you're trying to figure out, like, what is this? What do I want to do? Chances are, wherever you start is probably not where you're going to land. Chances are. I think that you have to, but the beautiful part is that you get to design your life, and I believe that whatever you want to do, you can make a fortune at it if you love it. You just have to figure that out, and I think that's the secret that you found, and that I found too, is that no matter what it is, I can make just as much, if not more money with that I was making before, and have the peace and the joy and the happiness. And so the only way you're going to figure it out, chances are, I mean, I've seen like one or two people leave and they knew exactly what they're going to do because they'd been planning it forever, like a decade. You have to take a bunch of action, just action, action, action. And just like you're in the trenches, bootstrapping, figuring it out. And I think you'll know when you land, and you'll know when you're like, I'm close, I'm closer, and just realize that like you're doing it. That's what this looks like. It really does.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what you said there about like the designing your life aspect, and that's the thing where, when you go back to corporate America or you're working in medical device sales, like everything is, you have a lot of freedom, if you will, going out in the field and doing your stuff, but it's very structured, right? There's only so many ways you can do the same thing. And so that was a struggle for me too. When I went out on my own in July 2020, I was sitting there and I was like, wow, I'm going to be able to like go in my pool whenever I want to and hang out and go on vacation and all these different things. And that was like, you know, 1% of the overall thing of everything that you end up taking care of in entrepreneurship. And so it is that like identity shift you have to make as an individual. So I'm glad to hear, obviously I'm not alone in that regard.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. And it's almost like it's a blessing and a curse, right? And being in med device for 15 years, and you were in it too, that flexibility of a schedule. It's like, well, yeah, well, you still have to make it happen. You have to have the structure and the discipline, and then transitioning into entrepreneurship, you have to have all of that. But I also feel like even more so, because you can go down some rabbit holes too. And it is part of the process, but you just got to keep your mindset sharp and make sure you're taking care of yourself, and that you know where you're going at the end of the day. You know what the end goal should look like. When I first started, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew what I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
And, people kept saying, like, if your why doesn't make you cry, then you don't have a why. And I'm like, well, shoot, now what do I do? Because I'm not crying over anything except the things that I don't want to do anymore. Like, that would probably bring me to tears. And then I had heard somebody say, like, no, like, throw that out the window, right? And I want to throw that out the window for any of the listeners. If you're like, I don't know what I want to do, but I know that this isn't right, then that's a great place to start. Start knocking down the things. Like, I knew I wanted to sleep through the night, Adam. Like, I knew I wanted to be around people that matched my value system. I wanted to be around people that I could trust and have fun with. Like, this whole thing could end for us tomorrow. And so, like, why can't I enjoy every bit of the journey? And even though it was, some days were hard trying to figure it out, this was my choice. And that was another probably hardest part, was the clarity. What does Kristy Kuhl want? Because now I get to figure it out. And that's pretty damn heavy if you don't know what you want to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what type of services and programs and things like that do you offer your clients?
Yep. So I coach CEOs and entrepreneurs and some executive teams. So, and I also have a women's group coaching program.
Awesome.
Yeah. So oftentimes what happens for me is I'm talking with an entrepreneur or CEO that hires me. And then a lot of the things that is happening in the company, just because I was underneath some great leadership with these companies and instituted a lot of things. I'm all about systems. I think there should be systems for the way that you communicate and you train and you develop and you give feedback, and how we looking at our numbers and how we tracking all this stuff. And so oftentimes when somebody comes to me, a lot of the stress are things that are within the company, and sometimes there's carryover, and I go in. And so the contract maybe with a person, or we may end up extending it. And I work with that executive team. There's one particular company right now where we overhauled leadership. And so we developed some younger leaders into positions. One's becoming a COO. And so I've taken her under my wing, and that's a piece of, in addition to working with the CEO, is developing her into COO and putting the systems and structure and strategy in place for the company. I think the thing that I'm most passionate about, I love it all, but unleashing myself is something that it's easy. It's always easy to see the movie in reverse. And I've taken all of those components and I've launched a 12-week group coaching program for women. The next one's on February 10th. And that's for anybody who feels like there's more inside of you. You just don't know how to bring it out. Maybe you're aligned with what you want to do. Maybe you're not, but there's 3 components to it. The first step is really getting us in congruency and alignment. The second is then we layer all the high performance stuff in. And then the third, we run with it together. Because I think one of the hardest parts of coaching is people being left out there by themselves to try to do something brand new. And there's questions and there's white space. And so just seeing, I did it last year, just seeing the freedom and the permission and what these ladies have stepped into, which is who they really want to be, who they really are, and what they really want to do has been such a gift.
Yeah, that's incredible. So talk to me a little bit about how you've branded yourself that's then helped really grow your business. Like, who is Kristy on social media to be able to then, sell your programs and get speaking events and all those different things?
Yeah. Great question. Thanks for asking that. I believe in showing people what it looks like. And I do not believe that and there are people right now that are copying my stuff. It's kind of funny to see that, Success Unleashed. And now I see people that are very close to me have rebranded themselves to Unleashing Your Success. And that's all that it is what it is. And I don't put any energy or time or effort into it. People can't copy me at the end of the day. And what I bring is truth and authenticity. I care so much. I grew up in Ohio and your work is everything. And I finish everything I start. If I can't get you where you're trying to go, I will not say yes. And my name and my reputation and character is everything. And once that's gone, Adam, it's gone. You can't get that back. And the more I rise, the more I really make sure that is all in tow. So I believe that people need information and they need energy and they need action. And I've been given the name by a few people and as the energy catalyst. I mean, if you know human design, I'm a generator. So I generate energy no matter where I go. And a lot of people want to be in these programs just because you take different action when you're around people like that. You know that being around Ben Newman and Coach to Coaches, it's just like, whoa. What is happening inside of me, the level up that I see in myself. So I will bring the energy, I will get you into action, and we will get to the truth though. So I'm not necessarily the person to hire if you're not ready to get to the truth. Yeah. Because I can't get you to where you're trying to go if we're not operating from this place of like, where are we right now? And where's the gap? Okay, let's put a plan together and I'm going to help you through that. I'm going to love you, but I'm going to tell you the truth too.
Yeah. Well, I think it's so important because, in this coaching space or in the entrepreneurial space, right, there's so many people that will just tell you what you want to hear because, you're the one paying them or you're the one doing whatever, right? And so I've been in those programs and done those things. And it's like at the end of it, you like kind of feel good, but you're like, well, I didn't really like get anything out of it though. Kind of
I'm still here. I'm still stuck. I'm still, yeah.
I kind of paid for like a friend or like a pat on the back, right? And that's the thing that I think different from working for somebody else or being in medical device sales or all those different things. Like, there was that more direct, feedback always from your manager or those types of things or from leadership coming down. And then like when you're an entrepreneur, your team's not always giving you the feedback that you need, right? Sometimes, right, about, hey, how can I perform better? And if you're going to a coach or a group, right, and they're telling you what you want to hear, you're like, oh, I'm good. And then all of a sudden you like behind the scenes, you're like, wow, this is not good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's so true. And I'm really on a mission to bust through all these posers too. I feel like, in this coaching speaking space, It's no different than any other industry,
Hmm.
but I believe that if you're going to have a social media platform, if you're going to have a coaching program, if you're going to be on a stage, we have a responsibility. We have a
Yes.
responsibility to tell you the truth, and I will not tell you anything that I don't know to be true.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Because
mean,
people hang on every word. They're coming for hope. They're
hmm.
coming for hope, and some of them are making really big decisions on their life and also on their business based off the things that you said. So,
Yeah, 100%. So what are you looking forward to the rest of this year and kind of the future with everything you're doing? Like, what's Kristy most excited about?
yeah, I'm most excited to have it dialed in, right? So,
Hmm.
again, I'm a truth teller, and I think that we should always be leveling up, and we should always be reinventing ourselves to get better. But I'm most excited to know who it is that I want to work with, and who it is that probably doesn't bring me the most passion. Right, the most passion, the most excitement. I think that when I first left corporate America, because I have the business and the personal side, there's quite a bit in my experience that I've done and that I can do. But for having that really dialed in, and I'm on a mission to unleash people, Adam. Whether you're in the corporate sector or you're an entrepreneur, or whether I'm going into the corporate sector or you just hire me, and outside of all of that, 95% of people are not unleashed. They're just not. They're
Yeah.
playing to somebody else's level of success, somebody's definition of success, and I see it. And this is why the majority of people find me, although they don't realize that's why they found me. It's what they're
Yeah.
feeling now.
And then they start working with you and they're like, why didn't I find you years ago? You would have saved me so much. It's the best feeling when you hear that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, it
awesome.
really is. I mean, that's the helper's high is real for me. So to be able to see those, all those light bulb moments, and I
Hmm.
think equally as important to see the shoulders come down and people go, okay, right. I like to leave people with systems so that they know why they're feeling this way. And so when you feel it again, you probably know why, right? So we
Hmm.
say core values a lot, and I even used to gloss over when I would hear that, but I take people through an exercise that we operationalize that, and then we turn that into warning signs too. So if I ever feel angry or frustrated at them, it's probably because I'm dealing with somebody that's not in my core values.
That's
So like
something
that's the
I've heard.
warning indicator, and I go, okay, what'd you do? Where? Okay, all right. Well, how did I make this decision? Well, there's a system for that too, right? So if
Mm,
I'm tired and I'm not, I haven't been working out and I haven't been eating good and I didn't sleep good, that's when I'm going to get all twisted up.
mhm.
I think everybody has the opportunity to, and that's when perhaps I could make a decision that's going to not be in alignment with my values or my standards. But to have this system of calibration to be like, okay, right. And so I used to always feel that certain way in corporate America. I get
Mhm.
this pain in my shoulder, and like I rarely ever feel that now. It's like,
Mhm.
wow, like I can't believe I can live this way and be this happy and joyful and peaceful.
Yeah.
While I'm still chasing down stuff that's hard and
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Well, Christy, this has been an incredible episode, not just talking about some of the things that you do, but the process behind the process, right? I think a lot of people, even just that last section, I go through something very similar where it's like, hey, if things aren't going well, I can't just continue down that path. I got to go back to the basic stuff. I got to go back to what's working. Who am I when I'm at my best? And there's usually some differences of who that person is, or and things that I'm not doing or need to be doing. And so I think just getting back to a grounded place is very effective. And so we talked a lot of strategy and tips and things like that, but also just foundational 101 stuff. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate you coming on, sharing your story, expertise, and all that good stuff. Where can people stay connected with you online?
Yeah. So I'm on YouTube now. Podcast is on YouTube. Keep Rising with Kristy Kuhl podcast. It's on all the platforms and on YouTube and social media. I'm pushing as much content every day as I can to keep you motivated and inspired, and to make you feel like you're not alone, and also give you some action steps that can help you get unstuck.
That's awesome. Well, Christy, any last pieces of advice, anything that the entrepreneur or executive that's listening to this that you would like for them to kind of take away and finish off the episode?
I believe that to be the person that you're not is to waste the person that you are. And no matter what it is that you're doing, your authenticity is your superpower. To be able to be yourself and to play full out, like the world needs to see that. And lastly, like just keep going, because the only reason why some people make it and the other ones don't is because they have the discipline and the consistency to stay in the game and to do it when they don't want to. And it may be the thing they know they need to do to work out or make the sales calls, or maybe it's just to get up and be like, man, I don't have this thing figured out yet. I gotta do something. I gotta have a conversation, but just stay in the game and find a way to do it when you don't feel like it.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to end this episode. Stay in the game, consistency, and discipline. So, Kristy, thank you so much for coming on. Really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, of course. And thank you again to our title sponsor, Go High Level. Without them, we aren't able to produce the quality of content or have amazing guests on like we did today with Kristy. Check out a free and extended 30-day trial in the show notes. Make sure as well to leave us a 5-star review, making a big push for reviews this year, and it definitely helps us move the needle. And remember, authority isn't built overnight, it's built over time.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode. We sure do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you consume podcasts. This way you'll get notifications as new episodes become available. If you feel so inclined, please leave us a review. We sure do appreciate it. Until next time, friends.